Hey everyone, and thanks for joining our September edition of our monthly leadership podcast on Leading His Leaders. I'm your host, Avery Nesbitt. Hey, today we are joined from the sunny Berkeley, California with our special guest, Josh Levine. He is the executive director and co-founder of Culture Labs X and the author of the brand new, amazing book, Great Mondays, How to Design a Company Culture That Employees Love. And you are going to really love him. And Josh, thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks, Ari. I appreciate you asking me on.
Hey, so listen, I picked up your book. It was one of those, and you might also love on Amazon. And
oh, cool. All right. That's working. Yeah.
That's how I stumbled across it. And I picked it up, and a day and a half later, I had read it and already told several of my friends, you have to read this book. It was an amazing, very easy to read, very practical book. And I reached out to you as a brand new book published like this year. And you were just quick on the, let's connect and talk. So I really want to dive into this and what you have to say and just kind of the experience that you have come from. So the book itself, Great Mondays, How to Design a Company Culture Employees Love. Off the bat, I just want to find out, why culture? Why did you zero in on culture? Why not how to design a company leadership team or a company talent management system? You know, why did you hone in on culture as the thing that will draw employees, team members, to really want to be a part of your organization?
Yeah, and I'll start off by saying I haven't gotten that question before because it's just so, I don't know, it's like right there or something, but like it's such a good question. And so I'm really glad that we get to talk about it. So the business world, forget business world, the world is speeding up. So we have this incredible acceleration of all of these things that are happening in our lives. And I don't know if you feel it, but I feel the anxiety pushing down on me around like, oh, I'm already behind. I woke up and I'm checking my emails and I'm doing whatever it is. And the okay, so we've got technology driving that, and technology is, we've got the computers move faster, we can do more things, we're having 5G, but all these things are about networks and being connected, and what that means, being connected with one another, and all these things it's just changing the world, society, and business more specifically. So what I have observed in my practice is traditional management structures are failing us. So if we think about command and control, top down, I have an executive team and then managers, and then we've got our employees. I'm going to tell you what to do, and they're going to tell you what to do, and they're going to tell you what to do. It's not fast enough. It doesn't serve the goal of the business well enough anymore. We don't have time for that. And so because most businesses are doing this, they're trying to keep up by just saying work faster.
Right.
Which I think you'll probably agree is an unsustainable and probably not even a very useful way to frame it, right? Work more, work faster.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is actually enable the people inside of our organization to do the best work that they can. And what that means, right? Work smarter, not harder.
Right.
Maybe you've heard, right? That means is I need to be able to be empowered to be the best person that I can be.
Right.
If I am given the resources, the autonomy, the support, the expertise, and the leadership that I need, I can make better decisions faster. So let me then take the next step and say, how do we enable this change? The way that we create a business, a community, that provides all of these amazing things that and draws in the right kind of people that are motivated to achieve the common goal that we're looking for. That's all done through culture.
Yeah.
Culture is this platform on top of which business runs. Culture is the cause and effect, and this is what I define in my book. Culture is the cause and effect of every decision that we make.
Wow.
So my journey has really been from helping organizations try to make these brand promises to engaging them in a way that is more sustainable and saying, hey, if you are able to set a vision for the organization, establish your values, determine what kind of behaviors and choices you want, that's your job. That's the job. You got to incentivize those choices.
Yeah.
That is how we're going to make that shift. You can't just all of a sudden say, okay, everybody, self-managed, go. Right? Like it's just not going to, you need to actually go to the root of this. And so the root is really about the underlying system that we can start to consider and start to think about more broadly and say, how do I help my employees make better decisions? Well, they need to be, number one, take care of the basics, paid a fair wage.
Yeah.
They need to be healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are not new things. They need to have good relationships at work. They need to have great leadership and vision. They need to be able to understand that what they're investing today is something that's going to help them tomorrow.
Right.
They need to understand that they're working with a group of people who can be trusted. So all of these things, if you think about how do you support these people, and the reason why I got into this 10 years ago, I saw this as a huge opportunity, and not only a huge opportunity, but my life's mission is to really help people be more fulfilled through the work that they do. And so when I work with organizations, that is what I'm trying to do, is help them help their employees become more fully themselves, be supported, showing up. And that is why it's all about culture and not team building or leader. It is because if you don't fix culture, everything else is a Band-Aid.
Wow. It's back to that definition that it is the cause and effect of every decision that you make. Everything else is sort of built on top of that. So you're saying it's your leadership elements, your recognition elements, all of those elements are built on this, how we behave, what we do with each other all day while we're here. Wow.
We are in relationship all day long, and it doesn't matter how many algorithms you're running, how many servers that are, it's about the people and how we work and affect one another.
So you tapped into something that I don't hear a whole lot from a lot of people, is fulfillment. And that one phrase that you said, it's about the people. Like I hear it's about the results, it's about the return, it's about it's accomplishing the goal. I think it's about the people. It's about them being fulfilled. What role do team leaders, what role do organizations have in helping people reach fulfillment?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let's be clear. Businesses are not responsible for their employees' happiness.
Right. It's good.
Businesses are not responsible for people's happiness. That is the individual's job.
It's good.
However, when you have a culture that is aligned, you're able to attract and retain, bring together teams of people that are excited to work towards something together.
Mm-hmm.
To work towards something together. They're excited about that.
Yeah.
And they are engaged in that and they want to achieve that. Not everybody's purpose, and not every company's purpose is going to align with, every other. It's not like you can just sign up with any company and you've got a great leader and you're excited about it.
Yeah.
You need to search for that alignment with your own self.
That's good.
And so when we're talking about fulfillment, we're talking about doing something worthwhile. And the more worthwhile you believe it is, the more fulfilling it is. And you're willing to put in that work. I'm not saying that if you get a great job, it's going to be easy.
Right.
No, you're working hard. You got to work hard.
Yeah.
And that is how a job can become fulfilling.
That's good. I like how you're saying
That is, and
ways, though, that it's the organization's job to create a culture that offers you fulfillment, but it's also our job to seek out an organization that aligns with our vision, with what we want to do.
mm-hmm.
That it's
Yeah,
not just this
exactly.
free. Well, in
Yeah.
the time that we have left, like I said, I devoured this book. Just the way you explain these concepts that are right in front of us, but you put them in a language that is accessible. That's what that is. That's what that is. You break it down
Mm-hmm.
into sort of what makes an organization's culture. And I've taken it down as far as I could. What makes a team's culture? What makes a group's culture? There's these little subcultures within organizations,
Yep.
but those tenets
Yep.
stay the same. The last two within the book that I found the most impactful were rituals and cues. And we won't have time to get into all of it, but I'd love for you to, and this is for you watching, this is almost like a little sample of what's ahead of you. I'd love for you to
Exactly.
a little bit of the high level view of rituals and cues within our culture and how they define the culture.
Right. So the book goes into details around an entire system, 6 components. So you're asking about the last 2.
Yeah.
So rituals are how we build and strengthen relationships. And relationships are the synapses of culture.
That's good.
When you have an organization that grows beyond a certain size, let's say 50 to 100 people, each individual it takes a certain amount of energy to have a relationship, to know other people.
Yeah.
And beyond 50 or 100 people, you just don't have the time or the energy to actually know all those people. And so what happens is organizations grow 500, 5,000, 50,000, whatever it is, you get subgroups, which is fine, totally fine. But what you don't want is for those subgroups to evolve their own cultures that are not serving the larger vision. And so rituals are how an organization can help break down those barriers that emerge as an organization grows. Yeah. So that's what a ritual is. And I give you, in the book, I've defined 4 different kinds of rituals, right? Styles or flavors of rituals. But I think there's sort of this big, the big once a year ritual is like the holiday party.
Right.
So that's an example of a ritual. So you already know what a ritual is. It's just a matter of actually dialing that, or like the company softball team. But then you can also think about other ways to like get people together that aren't normally together. So a lunch and learn, or, getting folks to, connect in different groups during a different facilitated workshop or something like that, right? So that's what we're trying to do, is create those relationships in order to build and strengthen, create those scenarios in order to build and strengthen relationships.
Yeah.
Cues, the last one that you asked about, those are reminders of why we're here. So I talked at the very beginning about getting everybody together for a journey that we're on, right? We're all headed towards this purpose, the peak of the mountain. But every job has its banalities of emails and budgets and quarterly deliverables and whatever right? Like everybody, we got all that stuff. We're going to get bogged down in that. I know it's not realistic to think like, yay, every minute of every day, I'm excited about what I'm doing. And so what we want to do is we want to establish physical, behavioral, and digital reminders
Yep.
to help people remember why they're here. And it can be everything from, and again, this one, you already know this one, where it's like if you've ever visited a large corporate headquarters or even a medium or small one, they might have that vision statement or mission statement up on the wall. Yeah. So that's a perfect example of a cue that many folks have. But is it impactful? Is it effective? Maybe, maybe not. How do you actually implement those with more and more distributed workforces?
Right.
And you have to think about how else you might keep people connected to both that long-term vision as well as some of the shorter-term aspirations for your team. One of the examples I give in the book is maybe instead of turning this idea of the employee of the month on its head and have a customer of the month. Because I know from the leaders that I hear, it's like they get, in larger organizations, you get really separated from that customer. You're kind of involved in your thing, but ultimately that's what you're doing it for. You're serving another human and you're helping them. So how do you actually break? Oh, okay, this is the person that I'm doing this work for. Those are, and there's like so many that I've not even thought of, right? This is part of the design. It's a creative exercise. You've got to imagine new ways to keep your team, even if you're not the CEO, if you're the manager, or even just part of a team, you can create and start to shift your own culture.
Yeah.
That to me is the power of this. You can't just say, well, my leaders don't. Yeah, they don't care, so I'm just waiting for someone else to do it. It's not about that. You've got to, in the book, I misquote Gandhi and say that you've got to be the culture change that you want to see in the world. and that's right. And so that is the, that's the mandate that I'm hopefully sharing with the world in this book and hopefully with this podcast, which is like, it's your responsibility to step up and be part of that culture and make that change that you want to see. What kind of organization do you want to work for? It's not easy, but it is a worthwhile endeavor.
That's amazing. Yeah, those were the ones that, and the words I put to it, those were the ones that were seemingly the most invisible. You don't feel those all the time, but they're the most impactful. I don't always feel the ritual. It's just something we do, but it has this impact. I don't always, that's a cue. I don't use those words, but it's the most impactful.
Let's be intentional about it. This is when I first got into thinking about culture, it was, people were like, it's fuzzy. I don't really know what it is. And this is what I wanted to do, is I wanted to put some edges on it and be able to have a conversation with people and say, you can actually manage for this. You can actually, this is a serious business tool that needs to be really approached with the rigor and prioritization of any of the other business functions, finance, IT, operations. This is not just like I'm going to ask the front desk person to make sure everything's feeling a little fun around here, right? Turn up the music.
Yeah.
That's not what this is about. This is a real business tool to engage people and to improve the bottom line at the end of the day.
Yeah. Josh, thank you for speaking with us today. This has been great. Thank you.
Absolutely, Avery. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, for everyone listening, I told you this was going to be amazing. You can pick up Great Mondays at where great books are sold. I got mine on Amazon, so there's that. Hopefully, you pick it up and you can leave comments. You can join us on leadingasleaders.com for additional content. And hopefully something we've said today helps you as you're leading as leaders. Thanks, everyone.